tried to schedule those focus group meetings for educators and students at a time when we can come. She wrote back and said, it is a female, right? Yeah. She wrote back and said, well, you can come during those times. So what you're saying to me is you want me to take off work to come to your focus group meeting. The students and the educators are at work during that time because the school is open. So I feel like education is not a priority. I'm really getting that feeling that you don't want to hear from the educators. You don't want to hear what we have to say. You don't hear what our concerns are. And the State of the City address, although it was very positive, I'm excited about it being positive, there was like one or two sentences from what I read focusing on education, and it was not really much said. We need to make education a priority in this city. I know you're a business owner and that's definitely what you care about, but I have been in this city all my life. I am the teacher next door. I care about my neighbors because I teach my neighbors. And I'm not going anywhere. I don't care how much I get paid. You can pay me, and yes, put that on video, because I'm not at work, and Mr. Pritchard knows me. I'm not at work to get paid. Mr. Pritchard knows I volunteer only because it's on video, I'm not going to say what I want to say, but I volunteer for inside the school system for stuff I don't get paid to do. So education is a priority to me because I'm educated. I was educated in Petersburg. I would like to see it be a priority for our city leaders. You're going to hear from me again about it, but I just wanted to be said here in this small forum before you hear it in the bigger forum.
I totally agree with you. I went to school here in Petersburg too, and graduated here from Petersburg High. And definitely, we have conversations with a lot of the teachers, because my mom was a former teacher.
I know your mother well, she knows me.
And one of the biggest complaints that we have is that we waste a lot of money in outside consultants coming here to evaluate our schools, and they take the money and we're still in the same situation that we're in.
Sometimes.
So I definitely, I'm an advocate for keeping the money here in our city and definitely using our resources that we have here. And definitely Ms. Sinclair is here, and she has an excellent program that started here in the city that we plan on endorsing, because nobody knows Petersburg better than the people here in Petersburg, and we know what our needs are. So technology is a big thing that we definitely have to put money into laptops and things here for our kids instead of so many outsourced. But Ken, you can speak on that a little more than I can.
Since we're on the budget.
On the education.
Yeah. we actually, just to let you all know, Dr. Melvin presented his budget last week. So he actually, this is a draft version of his budget. It's actually out online. You can actually review it. We're asking the city, he's asking the city for an extra, I think, $780,000. That's to help with a raise for our teachers, a 1.5% raise for our teachers, because right now, up at the General Assembly, the governor is proposing a 1.5, but you would have to, in order to receive that 1.5, you would have to have a local match. So that is the reason we're asking for the 1.5 million. Our teachers could get a 3% raise if City Council votes on the budget that Dr. Melvin will present to them. Also, he's asking for extra funding also with the opening of the new Blanford Gifted School. We're going to need some staff over there, so there's some funds there that's going to be needed for staff also over there. But like I said, the budget right now, it's in a working process, it's a draft process. So we still have a ways to go, but we will be meeting with City Council. In fact, we will be meeting a liaison meeting. We will have a liaison meeting in March. We will be meeting, and we will also present to City Council in April. We will present the budget in April.
Well, would it help, when you all meet, that the money that the city owes the school board, that they would help if they would give that money to the school board and stop the cracking of the
You're going to hear March the 4th. I think that's the date of our next meeting. We will have the auditor there who has completed the audit for the school board. The same audit for the city also. present our audit, and so he will unveil those figures on what is owed to the school system.
You on the Alabama? Have I ever seen you at the council meetings? Oh, okay. Okay, I'm just wondering, so many funny things are happening and the citizens are not being, told about what's going on. I was just wondering, because I don't remember ever seeing you at the city council. Okay.
Good evening to everyone. As being president of two education advocate groups here in the city of Petersburg, one being the PTO, formerly PTA, and the other being the Petersburg's Advocates for Children. First, we want to implore each and every one of you here, whether or not you have children, and Ms. Vasquez brought up something that came up in one of our meetings. It seems as if though every time there are meetings held addressing education, the ones who need to be at the table are not there. I would implore you all as city council members, when these things do come down, to understand this. We constantly complain. We even had a member, former mayor of city council, who talked about our school system not receiving accreditation, but yet you have things that address education and you don't have the educators there. We hope that you would change that, and that everyone, as I said, whether or not you have a child in Petersburg Public School, you have a connection to that school. Why? Because when the school system fails, we have failed, because we are the school system. When our children fail, we fail. So whatever we can do to support our schools, let's do that. I'm serious, because all this time, and again, it's not Mr. Hicks' fault before anybody jump on him, but look at how some of our back streets were not clean. That's city council call. Therefore, our kids had to stay out of school. Therefore, they're missing that education time. Then when SOLs roll around, we're complaining again that our schools are not accredited. You know, and so when these things happen, I like to say like Maggie Ingram. She said, I got a Bible I can read. If I don't read and my soul be lost, it's nobody's fault but ours. So I say that to say this. We have children we need to educate. And if our children don't get educated and our kids are lost, it's nobody's fault but ours. And then last but not least, also talking that as a community member, two other things. We heard that the golf course, whatever's supposed to be going on there, they may be selling alcohol. Our biggest problem is y'all right across the street from the schools. It's bad enough you got this store down here across the street from the park. And then last but not least, something you all might want to take back, the PO for the PIO for the city of Petersburg, complaints have come back. She is not a nice person. Now y'all running after me about paying money to the city, but yet look at what the city's hiding. And you wonder why I want to pay nothing.
All right, Janelle Bland St. Clair. I want to piggyback off of something, but not, but as a resident. Not only do you have educators working, you have everyday people working. You know, and concerned citizens that want to have to exert their voice and say what direction they want their city to go into. And we've had a press conference that was done during the day. Yeah. We had the State of the Union address, the city union address done during the day. We had the appointment of our city councilman done during the day. All those things in which the public has a right to participate in. What I have a concern about, and I'm trying to be as diplomatic as possible. We have a leader of our city that's unemployed, doesn't have a job. So it's very convenient for him to do it at any point of the day. However, his constituents work, you know, and what we're saying is that that people want to be more involved and want to be able to participate in this process. And therefore, you have to, of course, we know some people work 3 to 11. Of course, we know some people work 11 to 7. But the majority of your people work 9 to 5. So, you know, you can't throw everybody out. You know, the majority of your people who make sure that y'all have a job needs to be able to have the opportunity to participate. So we're asking our city councilman, our vice mayor, to say, please schedule things that involves the city around the time when the majority of the people can't participate or voice their opinion. Right. So that they can be involved, they can be informed. We don't have this watch. Some people don't have Facebook, you know, where we can go on his page or someone else's page and find out what's going on. But they want to be able to know, have the opportunity to express themselves. Right. So that's where I want to say, not just educators, but what about regular people?
Mm-hmm. What is the best way you think that we can get that word out? Because I've heard that before, as far as a lot of people don't have Facebook, and some people are not computer literate, so. Yeah.
But one of the ways I think that you can get the word out, and I've been talking about this. I got my phone, I can show it to you. Every board meeting that I go to, I say the same thing about that communication. You want people to go online to the city site and sign up for that Petersburg Go, which I'm a part of those text alerts. They tell you nothing. Mr. Pritchett, what did I have to ask you? Remember? I said when, where, and what time is the ward meeting. All it said was Ward 3 meeting - Samuel Parham. What does that tell me? Nothing.
Okay, nothing.
Okay, so yes, I know there is a ward meeting coming. When is it? What time? Where do I go? What's the agenda? I mean, it's a text message, so 140 characters can tell me a little bit more than Ward 3 meeting Sam Parham. You see what I'm saying? Right. All right, so almost everybody, I think more people have cell phones than they do Facebook. I'm a technologist who does not have Facebook on purpose. I don't have that kind of time for other people to be in my business. But I will look at my cell phone, I'll look at email, and I'm not going on your website. Nobody is really looking at websites in the 21st century. Outdated.
Okay.
I'm not going on your website to look. I'd rather for you to push the information out to me.
Text.
So
text.
Okay.
Text
Yes.
All right.
and
And do we have
You
everybody?
still have your seniors who are still looking at that newspaper.
Right.
They're looking at
then
that
we have a
newspaper
gap
on the
with the
daily.
newspaper too.
Yeah.
As far as a lot of people don't
Don't
get
forget
that.
about the newspaper.
Right.
And
But
try
then
to
you got the
press.
new Comcast channel,
Right.
but everybody don't have Comcast. So, you know, you have some
You
options.
all
Yeah,
do.
you got a lot of options, the text, the mass text,
Yeah.
email, Comcast, and newspaper. Because a lot of the seniors, I don't care what you do, they're gonna get a newspaper. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If nobody owes, they're gonna get a newspaper.
Those message boards throughout the city work.
Yep.
The bus still works. Putting the flyers on the bus still works. Inside the bus and on the outside, that works. Putting them up in major places, the Petersburg Public Library. If you need a real public information officer, give me a call.
My experience with her, she was nice, and I don't know what the turnaround, you know, what was the off and on switch that she's not nice, she is nice, I don't know that switch, but my interaction with her has been very pleasant. But I don't know if I had to challenge her on anything either to see a different side.
Okay. Also, Mr. Dickens is here.
Yes.
Also, I've been in contact with Officer Mack, and he's ready to get that Battlefield Park neighborhood watch going. So if everybody from Battlefield Park, if you can put all your information on, we're gonna have a meeting in the near future. So we're gonna circle around something for all of Battlefield Park here, because there's an interest, and we have many neighbors, and Officer Mack is gonna get in contact with us to get this up. So we're ready.
And that's another thing. Find out how many neighborhood associations and neighborhood watch. There is a difference. There is a difference between an association and a watch. Find out how many are active. Find out who those leaders, those contact people are. You see, that's another problem, especially our board. Since the so-called mayor has been in office, He has only met with us maybe twice, and that's because we had to threaten to take to expose him. And so, that's another way to keep in contact with people.
Let me say something about Neighborhood Watch.
Sure.
I'm co-chairman of ours, and we have Christmas parties, we have the National Night Out, we do things, and everybody knows everyone. And just keep in touch, and I mean, sometimes people won't come, but just keep in touch and they'll eventually come. But you gotta be active, proactive.
Because we get, at our neighborhood association, we get quite a few from this area, from over, parts of Ward 7. They come there, and some, we had come out of the East Warner Hill area. They didn't think they could come because it wasn't East Warner Hill. Like I told them, if we put it in the paper, you come. Because eventually, whatever affects this area is going to affect in some kind of way my area and vice versa.
That's right.
But the other thing I've got, talking about putting the newspaper, and we talk about, people just don't read the newspaper. I'm the only person in the block that gets a progress index in my neighborhood. But we should have more people here than 25 people with the number of people in this ward. I mean, they don't care, or they don't know that the meeting's going on.
I know the one, I know the cold and ice was definitely gonna be a factor for, one reason, and, yeah, that's true, yes.
2 points. There's one, I work with Tom on our neighborhood watch. We'd be glad to meet with anybody and tell them how we organized ours. We have one of the biggest in the city. When Officer Mack, we have 30 or 40 people showing up. And second point too, this is, I think, more important, to me anyway. The president's budget, when it comes out of here, has more detail on what is going to be spent in the city of Petersburg, which has a very tiny budget. Right. I think if you looked at the president's budget, you'd see what you ought to be doing. Every department has a discussion, what they've done in the past year, what they plan to do, where the money is going, if it's an increase, if it's a decrease, why there's a decrease. And I'm not going to give you away with that, but if you just go to his budget, you can find all this. But our city's budget never has that. We have numbers, but we have no idea what the numbers mean. Unless you attend the city council meeting, and then there's the discussion, it's more detail. And as you said, a lot of people don't have time to go there. You know, when meetings are held at awkward times.
All right, so we need to, look at the president's budget and simplify that, because I've seen our
Yeah, I
budget
think
too.
if you go on the OMB website, yeah, you just pull one up and see the discussion.
And I also want to know, since, what is the, or I get that little message too, the reorganization, we organize the city council every year, or every other year? Every 2 years, okay. So how often do we reorganize the committees and boards that serve under the city council? Can you be quiet?
Planning commission and things of that nature.
Yes.
That's every 2 years too.
Okay.
Right, and I've been
So-
alternating between odd and even years to keep from having huge swings.
Okay, well, I would like to serve on some boards. Once upon a time, I was on the youth services board. So have I missed the reorganization for this year?
We actually have a opening that we're trying to fill on the planning commission right now. And, that's over in Ward 1. We don't have any applicants over there.
Okay, I live in 7. And here, and the reason why I'm having this conversation with you is because how would the folks in the city have known that you have these openings at the time to reorganize and serve on these boards? How do you go about putting your name out there, applying?
Right.
I feel like it should be the same process that we pretty much have for getting new city council people appointed. Because we have a lot of nepotism and friendship issues going on in Petersburg. We been here all our life. So, I mean, you know, you need some fresh ideas. Right. Truly, it's time for us to move, this city to move and get back like we were. We need some visionary leaders, and I'm not saying that. We need some folks to say, okay, I'm tired of seeing the same people serve on these, because we're getting the same thing we've always got. You see what I'm saying? It's time for some fresh ideas.
I understand.
And mix it up.
To answer your question, I know we advertise for Planning Commission Just in Progress. I know that's the only way that we advertise that. But in talking to you, I would like to get started like a youth advisory board here.
We need it. And we need some youth on that board.
Right. So would you be willing to spearhead that?
Telling them what they want.
Because we need high school people out there, because everybody say, we don't know what the kids is doing. But do anybody talk to the kids?
Right.
You know, to find, to get their perspective, to find out what's going on in their mind, how to get in contact with them, to make them stay involved in the school,
I'd be
to
glad
take
to
pride
do
in
that.
it. Okay?
Matter of fact, I have 37 children right now, high school students.
Yes.
Clerk Council has the list for all the boards.
Right.
And they have all the agenda there. If you visit that office, they'll give you all the information of the turnovers and whatnot.
Right, definitely.
You know, we did have a youth services commission at one time. And recently I read where Colonial Heights is getting theirs back up. And the time that I served on the youth services commission, I represented the school, the youth member on there. Colonel Carl Gould was head of the youth services commission. So anybody who knows the late Colonel Gould know that's been a minute. You have Savvy here. I don't know how much homework you all did. But ever since Savvy has been in place, the only thing of note Savvy has done is the swag event. And that's about it. And I've always said before, because part of the Youth Services Commission, we had a youth commons, and we developed plans to council. And during that time when we were functioning, Clyde Johnson was still on council. Rosalind Dance was nowhere to be found. She, you know, and so that's how long it's been. But I will ask this question too. I would hope that we as the citizens, and I say that for a reason, to see that you two work together.
Right.
Like your predecessor. Because I will stand here and say before my own council person, both on school board and council, they did not work together. They were too busy at each other's throat to do anything to keep us informed. Most of the information that I got was during Ward 3 meetings. And then we would take it back. And most of our people were like, oh, well, how come we didn't know this? Now that I have to go like Ms. Vasquez, and I've been around even than you and Mr. Hill. Been here longer than you all. We're tired of hearing the same old thing. We're going to do this, and you do nothing. We're tired of seeing it. Our seniors are overlooked. Our young people are overlooked. You know, so I'm hoping if no other elected officials that we see walking the walk that you talk, I hope it remains between you two. Because other than that, for the most part, the rest of us are lost.
And on that note, let me Mr. Darren here, let me introduce our new council person here, and he can talk to you if they'd like to speak for a second.
Good evening, everyone. It's been a very spirited meeting, and I've learned a lot of notes. My name is Darren Hill. I'm a native of Petersburg, grew up in Burgersville on the corner of Lincoln and Patterson. My parents still live there. If you all know where the Christmas lights are always shining every year, it goes out every year, so that's where I grew up at. I currently live on Northwest Chester Drive right now. Me, my wife, my children. I have two sons, which are grown. They graduated from Petersburg High School. I graduated from Petersburg. My wife graduated from Petersburg. My daughter is currently at Peabody Middle School. So I'm a fixture in this community. And all the stuff that we're talking about today, I've talked about for a long time. The young lady said she's never seen me there. I be at council meeting. I don't always go to the mic, but I know what's going on. I am a business owner, okay? I'm a business owner, and I've owned my business for 15 years. My wife, she's a business owner. She's owned hers for 13 years. We're fixtures in this community. You know, and I love Petersburg. I'm sorry that it's gotten to the state that it has, but I was going to run anyway in 2 years. So it's not that this just came up because God bless his soul that Mike Rawls passed. You know, I was going to run anyways. So this just didn't come up off the blue. You can ask anybody who know me, I've been talking about this for a while, okay? God just saw fit that right now that I'm appointed for this person of time, right here at this time. Now, I understand that people, they promise a lot of things and this, that, and the other. But one thing about me, I have a lot of integrity. I don't go along with any foolishness. I don't do a whole lot of backbiting. If I have something to say, I'll say it to you in your face, and you say the same thing to me. That's where I am. I shoot straight, okay? I'm not a whole lot of, you know, I know how we have politics and things like that. You know, you have to get along with people. At the end of the day, you have to work with who you all vote in. You know, and I know I was appointed, and some people are saying already, well, that's the council's appointment. That's not our appointment. I'm going to run in November. I'm going to run again. Some of you all may be even in my district. Some of you all may know people in my district. I ask that you just watch what I do from this time until November. Okay? From this time until November, and then you can assess how I carry myself and what it's about. Now, you all know council. And you all know the things that goes on. I'm just coming on. There's a lot that's going on. Accusations and allegations and everything that's going on.